G'day. I don't even know whether this is live yet. I'm going to have to watch that again. I was watching your video, Chance, and flicking through my phone, and I don't know why I do these things, but I do. And then it's like, very sad announcement. And it's like, what the heck? Yeah, I know. It's 2 o'clock. Well, just about 2 o'clock here. And normally he goes live at around about midday, like 11. Like, I'm normally getting lunch at about 11:30 because I know the show is going to come on, and that virtually wipes me off for the rest of the flaming day. I just assumed it was because he was coming back home or something like that, because I know from the looks of things, he'd been away. G'day Tammy, g'day JPass. I just assumed he'd been away, and I assumed that he was just coming home and maybe he wasn't going to do anything today. What I didn't expect was very sad announcement, and I'm thinking, what the hell's going on? So I miss probably around about the first part of the show. And then everyone's going, oh, sorry, Dex, I don't know what's going on. And I'm thinking, what happened to Dex? I thought he'd passed away. Hey, Bobby Sue, how are you? I honestly thought he passed away, the way everyone was talking and the way he was talking as well. It's like, oh my God. So I don't know. Yeah, I know, but I suppose if you haven't seen it, I missed the first part of it where he actually explained it. So I'm just reading what everyone else's comments were, and it's like, holy crap. But yeah, apparently he's just stepped back due to something obviously going on in his family, and which is fine. Yeah, it's just a family thing. But clearly he's not going to be able to do the website stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what happens with the show, I guess. Adam will still do stuff, but it's kind of a bit weird. It's kind of like my afternoons are based around the show. So I don't go live until he's finished. So yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. I was actually going to let you go live because I didn't really have much to talk about, I got to be honest. It was, yeah, I'm just pottering away. I didn't actually finish until, yeah, I know. Hello, Nepenthe. Yeah, I don't know. My head's still wonky. As you guys know, I worked all day Saturday, or most of Saturday. I was certainly on the road half the day Saturday. And then I didn't really finish until 7:30 last night. I think I turned the computer off at about 7:45 after I'd sent the last email. And so, although I'm not fully caught up, I am here. So yeah. So there you go. But it is good to see everyone here. As for what shall I talk about? Very sad announcement. I don't really know. And I'm caught up with Citizen Vigilante, so I can offer my thoughts. Yes, please do. Citizen Vigilante. Please do, Chance. I've heard that there's a movie called it. I think I've seen a couple of little yeah, I could talk about how. Yeah, I knew how bad the Melbourne market was about 2 weeks ago. Because I came across a video that was talking about the Sydney and Melbourne real estate dropping by, I think they dropped by about 47% clearance rates at auction. And to be funny about it, apparently Adelaide's doing exactly the same, which we all knew was going to happen at some point anyway. Yeah, the real estate market has dropped here in Australia. In that properties are now taking a lot longer to actually sell. And from the explanation I saw on one video, basically the people are just asking too much. They think their properties are worth 1.5, 2 million, and in reality, it might be, but you're virtually going to have to wait. Anything upwards of about 6 to 12 months before you sell. G'day, Kendall. Hello, Phase 7. Saturn, Titan, Hyperion. Yeah. STHI. I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, look, the real estate market only dropped because they pretty much got rid of all, the stamp duty was going up, and then they got rid of all the investor stuff in terms of taxation write-offs and things like that. So with the belief that new home buyers would be able to come in and basically buy up, which is not the case, because no new home buyer, first home buyer, is actually able to spend $1.5 million. I mean, where in the hell are they going to get the deposit for that? Unless this market basically just completely collapses, they've still got no hope. The negative gearing and stuff like that. It's out of control. And yes, it has affected me to a certain extent, because look, I draw houses, and like I said to you guys the other day, when I was in Adelaide last week, I actually had a meeting with a builder, and he was saying the same thing. His workload had dropped. He was still doing all right, but he had noticed that the developers weren't coming in and building 2 or 3 houses. They weren't coming in and doing the 5 on one block anymore. It's because at the end of the day, if you're going to build 4 or 5 houses on one block, at the end of the day, the tax is basically just killing you. The birds. I don't know. Yeah, I know America slowed way down as well. Look, it's funny how it kind of works. Australia changed its tax rules. America has basically, it's no different to Australia, where pretty much the middle class has basically been wiped out. And pretty much, even if you want to try and put some money away, and the housing market has always been good for that, where, you can do long-term investment or in the stock market. And basically they can't do it anymore because you're being taxed at every friggin' point, that it's basically not worth it. People have got enough to spend on stuff as it is, let alone throwing it into investments in the hope that might actually pay off one day, and of course it just isn't. And I think even Canadian Prepper had a guy on today who was talking about very much the same thing. The guy he was interviewing sort of mentioned that he knew this old guy who had never actually gotten into the stock market before. And of course, all the retailers for the markets were basically sort of saying, "Oh yeah, it's always gone up by 5%." And so, And so he sort of held off for about 12 months and realised that, yeah, in effect, it had actually gone up by 5%. So he thought, okay, I'll throw some money into it, It's better than the banks. And of course, the very next year it lost 3%. And, I just don't think any of this stuff was ever really designed for us, the usual normal people just trying to make a dollar, trying to protect ourselves. It's getting harder and harder and harder to do it. And charts, you know what it's like with all the digital stuff, or the bitcoins and whatever else. And it's the same boat, they're just bloody attacking friggin' everything. Anything that basically that you can put your money into, where you could possibly make something more than what you put into at the start, they're stopping you from doing that. And gold and silver were the same. It's like, gold went up through the roof, silver went up through the roof. I mean, I bought mine when it was still about $26 an ounce. And so I don't care. But, I've had to sell some because at the end of the day, I've got to live. So yeah. Well, see, the funny thing is, I actually knew a guy like, Chance, you're always talking about the boomers. Funnily enough, when the interest rates go up, they adore that, because all of a sudden their investments start paying off more. Hey, just some guy. All of a sudden they're getting paid a lot more when the interest rates go up. None of us like it, but they do. And funnily enough, at the moment, as soon as the interest rates dropped, they started getting really shitty about it all, So, yeah, I know. And then they brought in the wealth tax, and now they're all pissed off again. And I know a few guys who were in that boat. Some of them were just absolutely freaking annoyed, beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, at the moment, I don't think there's probably barely, a middle-class person in this world that's going, oh, the world's fantastic, I'm making piles of money. I just don't think there's anyone around like that. They might be saying it publicly, but they're not saying it privately. And as for the boomers, they're getting absolutely smashed. It's, and I've spoken to my mum about this before. It's like, don't put money away for me. Go out and spend it because, you were the one that earned it. You enjoy it, and now it's a case of she's put this money away and it's like, well, you're going to lose half of it anyway. And she's going, what? I said, sorry, the government are going to take it. Sorry. So while you've got it, spend it. Or give some of it out now, because when you pass away, that's all gone. Or half of it at least. And it's not just here in Australia, it's the same in the UK. I mean, look at what the farmers went through, 2 or 3 years ago? Where basically it was actually, they didn't know what to do. They couldn't sell the farm because they were going to get taxed on it. They couldn't give it to their kids because their kids virtually had to remortgage about 10 houses before they could afford to buy the farm because of all the taxation on it. So the farms are sitting there virtually growing weeds because they don't know what to do with it. And farmers are probably one of the worst because they're sitting on all this land, but they remortgage or they refinance every year to buy what they need to fertilise it, seed it. It might have gone up in value, but so's all the other stuff that they need to actually grow anything. No, I don't know anybody who wants to farm. Nobody. I've never met a kid in my life that grows up and goes, I want to be a farmer. They all want to be firemen or, policemen. You ask the kids in preschool and the 5-year-olds, it's just... But I mean, it does make you wonder when people are going to go, fucking enough. When the hell are people going to get pissed off? It really makes you wonder. I mean, how many buttons, how many red lines can people be pushed? Yeah, but you just want a cute farmer, Bobby, and you're married, so I wanted to be a farm wife. Oh, that's all right. You're happy now, so all good. It's just one thing after another, and you gotta be honestly wondering at what point do people just get really annoyed. I mean, I don't spend a cent, as little money as I possibly can. If I've got to eat a can of baked beans, I'll eat a can of baked beans. I did go out and buy a couple of pieces of steak the other night. I couldn't. I've been talking about it for ages and I'm sick of lamb. All I've been eating is lamb. But, a couple of pieces of steak were like $22. I mean, if you've got a family of 4 to feed, the husband, the wife, and the two kids, I honestly don't know how they're doing it. I really don't know how they're doing it. Texas Roadhouse. I've heard that's good. Oh. See, I haven't been out to dinner for... God, I can't remember the last time I actually went out to dinner. I think it is mathematically impossible. Yeah, I'm really jealous, Bobby, because there used to be a couple of steak places where you could go, and I didn't mind, the twirly fries and things like that, just a nice piece of steak or something along those sort of lines. It's like you just feel good after you've eaten it. So I don't know. But I don't know how these restaurants actually survive. I really don't. The cost of the food they're buying, the cost of the power they're using, the cost of everything. It's just, it's horrendous. The land value is going up, but it's like that's their... It has to be chance, because how does a family of 4 survive? Like, you've got to buy 4 lots of clothes, you've got to buy 4 lots of food, you've got to all the running around in the car and the maintenance and everything else, and then on top of that you've got your land rates and your taxes and your power bills and everything else that goes along with it. It's like, seriously. There was a guy, I did watch the news a few nights ago, I can't remember when, and there was a guy in Adelaide that he was living in a caravan, in a caravan park, and the gas bottle exploded. And he'd only just been in there for like a week. Like he just couldn't afford to pay rent. He couldn't afford to, so he went out and bought himself a crappy little caravan to live in. He's still working full time, and that's the dumb thing about it. Like, how is it that people can still work, like 8 hours, 10 hours a day for 5 days a week, and in some cases 6, or 5.5, and still not be able to afford rent? They're forced to go and live in a tent. How do you work full time and have to live in a tent because you can't afford to live in a house? I mean, where the hell are we at that point? Seriously. It's not like they're people, it's not like they're homeless anymore. These are people who are actually working for a living. They want to work, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where we are. And this whole Russia-Ukraine thing, oh my God. I mean, what was it last night? 650 drones they sent, the Ukraine sent to Russia. Russia knocked down 613 of them. I mean, like a number of people have said, if you'd woken up in the 1980s to hear that a country was sending that many bloody rockets or drones into Russia, it wouldn't have just been friggin' under the desk. It would have been, here's my will. I mean, it's like the world's friggin' gone. I mean, we're as much as running under a desk might make you feel better, but I mean, it's not going to do jack at the end of the day. You may as well kiss your ass goodbye and say, oh well, let's get pissed. It's because who cares by that point? And yet this is happening every bloody night. And what are they blowing up? They're blowing up each other's fuel reserves. They're blowing up petrol, gas stations. I don't know how many more gas stations Kiev has actually got, but I'm pretty sure it ain't that many left. And they're using, hypersonic missiles. I mean, these things, blinking, there's a missile, there's a satellite coming in. Next thing, where the hell did that come from? Yeah, it's insane. This is the world we live in. It's great. Bloody great, isn't it? So, I don't know. And we're still waiting for, the US apparently have pulled their forces back from Iran. Although there was, I don't know whether you guys have seen the pictures from the funeral in Iran. They apparently finally buried the Khomeini, Ayatollah Khomeini, or whatever his name is, and the procession for the funeral actually had to stop because they couldn't move. They couldn't go forwards. They could barely go backwards. And they couldn't even jump a street because they were filled as well. I'm pretty sure just about every Iranian came out into the streets to basically say goodbye. And like someone said, I don't know where they've been storing his body, but be a bit woofy by now. So yeah, that happened last night. Well, for me, last night. And I mean, looking at the pictures of the city, all you could see is I actually thought it was Gaza when I first saw the picture because the entire city's grey. I thought it was collapsed buildings or something like that, but no, when you look in there, it's like all the buildings are the same colour. It's like, are they not aware of a paint palette? And all the streets are all black. And then you suddenly realise that's the people walking through the streets, like every street. So the more you actually look at it, the more you realise it's like, oh my God, that's a lot of people. So yeah, that happened. China, it looked like, honestly, looking at this city, it looked like a volcano had gone off and it was all covered in volcanic ash. That's what it looked like. It was so grey, almost grey-white, the pictures, just with these black lines going through it. And then you suddenly realise those black lines are actually people. and no matter which city you no matter which road you look like, all the roads were completely black. So yeah, it was just incredible how many people were there. But they reckon that that's probably going to tick off again. As to how that happens, I don't know. As to when it'll happen, I don't know. It's all the same. It's like my favourite saying: same shit, different day, pretty much. And that's, I don't know how else to say it. It's, whether it's a Monday or a Friday these days, I don't think it really matters. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who I've heard of Paul Pelosi. Well, at least I've heard of Pelosi. Yeah, same shit sandwich. Same shit, different day. I think... buckle up. Oh, God, here we go. It's a good thing I've got a PC in front of me, is all I'm going to say. Paul Pelosi. I have heard the name. It's not like I haven't heard the name. American businessman who owns and operates financial leasing services, a San Francisco-based real estate and venture capital investment and consulting firm, married to former US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Yeah. Oh, he was the one that was attacked in the house or something like that, wasn't it? Some bloke broke into their house and threatened to do something to him, and then we found out that he was a bend over type of guy. And it was all a little bit dicey, or shall we call spicy. So yeah, but yeah, that's... Paul Pelosi faces misdemeanor hit and run charge in Napa County. There we go. Let's have a read of this. For those that don't know, yeah, we don't want video. Or is that all you're going to show me? Yeah, okay, that's all you're going to show me. Okay, we'll find something else. Let's find an article that we can read. So this is by Yahoo News. Associated Press, Sunday, July 5th, 2026. Former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband was involved in a hit and run Friday in California's wine country. That left one car with major damage, according to local authorities, who said the 86-year-old could face misdemeanor charges. This guy's got to be rich enough that he doesn't have to drive anymore, seriously. Or at least his wife is. Paul Pelosi was driving his brown convertible. Well, I mean, if that doesn't explain everything, I don't know what will. Who owns a brown convertible? Colorblind? Maybe. Yeah, so he was driving his brown convertible in Yountville. That was clearly wine country. I didn't know how to spell anything. A small town in Napa County where he struck a legally parked car on the side of the road. Oh, yeah. He was a tad tiddled, as we say. Briefly stopped and then drove away. Yeah, because no one wanted him to blow in the bag. The Napa County Sheriff's Office said in the news release Saturday there were no reported injuries. A witness saw the crash and called 911. Shortly after, the sheriff's deputies found Pelosi with severe damage to the front of his car on a nearby road roughly a quarter of a mile away. Spot the brown convertible, apparently, with damage. The octogenarian, why do they need to use that word? told officers that he knew he hit something, but he wasn't sure when or what caused the damage to his car. I don't know. It just jumped out in the middle of nowhere. Pelosi didn't have any alcohol in his system at the time of the crash, according to the statement. Did they not test him? Apparently he was blind, and we know both. The sheriff's office referred Pelosi to the California Department of Motor Vehicles to initiate a process that will determine whether he is able to continue driving. So let me get this straight. Number one, he's in a wine region in the Napa Valley. He hits a car that's not even moving. Hello, Vanessa. How are you? He hits a car that's not even moving, eventually stops a quarter of a mile away, and doesn't know what hit the car. I didn't see it. Oh, there's damage to the front of it. Oh yeah, that looks bad. He wasn't arrested, and because no one was physically injured, the sheriff's office is recommending a misdemeanor that charges Pelosi with fleeing the scene of an accident. Mr. Paul Pelosi has personally apologised to the owner of the vehicle and assured them that he would take responsibility for the damage of their vehicle. Speaker Pelosi will not be commenting further on this private matter, a spokesperson for the Pelosi family said in a statement. Apparently, he pleaded guilty in 2022 to misdemeanor charges of driving under the influence in Napa County. He was sentenced to 5 days in jail and 3 years of probation, though he only served 2 days in jail and received good conduct credit for 2 other days, leaving just 1 day to serve in a work program at the local courthouse. As part of his probation, Pelosi was also required to attend a 3-month drink driver class and to install an ignition interlock device where the driver has to provide a breath sample to prove sobriety before the engine will start. He was also ordered to pay $5,000 in victim restitution for medical bills and lost wages and nearly $2,000 in fine. Shortly after that crash, Paul Pelosi was attacked and severely beaten with a hammer at the couple's San Francisco home in late 2022. The attacker, David DePape, was sentenced in 2024 to 30 years in prison. I didn't know that. I didn't realise he'd been sentenced. So, there you go. That's Paul Pelosi. I don't know. I mean, just the fact that he's driving a brown convertible. I mean, come on. Seriously. And that's probably all we need to really know about him. Oh, look, here's one. What's this? Let's look into Paul Pelosi a little bit more. I don't think paying for a new car is going to be an issue. Because according to this article published January 23, 2025 on news.com.au, the headline, Nancy Pelosi's husband makes $38 million worth of stock trades in weeks leading up to Trump inauguration. I mean, that's just him. Yeah, I know Nancy Pelosi is... I mean, there's a woman who basically spends 4 years in Senate or Parliament or whatever you want to call it, earning $120,000 and comes out worth $60 billion or something. You know, I mean, it'd be nice if my accountant got that wrong as well. You know, oh, hang on a sec, we were only meant to pay you this much and instead we paid you this much. Yeah, but if you, I mean, look, I get the fact that they're married, but, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not going to say what I was really thinking. I mean, I don't know. It seems like these stupidly rich people, they don't actually need to work, like ever, but they do, and then they apparently buy really ugly brown convertibles, which I can't for the life of me think of who thought that was a good idea. Maybe he just wanted to be different. I don't know. Based on what I've heard about him, maybe he should have bought a pink one. I don't know. It stands out less than a brown. Puts a whole new tag to, oh my God, that's a piece of piece of excrement. I mean, you ask anyone, okay, convertible, what colour would the vast majority of people pick if they were going to buy a convertible? If you had the chance. We're talking about Paul Pelosi. I know, well, wouldn't you buy a red one? I mean, that's where you would start, right? Just a thought. Mitch McConnell. Okay, let's look up Mitch McConnell. This is fun. I like this. Mitch McConnell. Let's look up this. Mitch McConnell. He's the old guy that freezes every now and again. You ask him a question that he doesn't actually want to know, and he freezes. It's like, hang on a sec, I'm looking at a photo of him. He's buffering. Yes, he buffers. Mitch McConnell's neighbour reveals new details about health absence. So, hang on a sec, before I even read this. Oh, hang on a sec, he's being pushed to Senate in a wheelchair. So, we're looking at MSN. When's the date on this? I think that one's too old. No, 5 hours. Okay, 5 hours ago. Neighbours of Mitch McConnell's Capitol Hill home in Washington, D.C. have said the House hasn't seen anyone come or go since his latest health scare. The former Senate Majority Leader had not been seen in public for weeks before he was found unconscious after an apparent heart attack at his home on June 14, according to EMS dispatch audio. One of the neighbours explained to independent journalist Desiree Townsend that when she saw him taken to the hospital by paramedics, but has seen no activity at McConnell's nearly $2 million Washington house since. That sounds relatively cheap. $2 million for a house in Washington. But anyway, I haven't seen anyone, she explained. Because she doesn't sit by the window and look out and keep an eye on everyone who goes past. The neighbour said no families members, including his wife Ellen Chow, 73, have come by the house since the health scare, and no one else has come or gone from the townhouse. Chow, who formerly served as Transportation Secretary in the first Trump administration and Labour Secretary in Bush administration, travelled to Beijing and met with Chinese Vice President Han Zheng just 3 days after McConnell's hospitalisation. The Daily Beast has contacted other neighbours of McConnell's for more information about potential activity or inactivity at the house. Townsend has reported that his Capitol Police security detail, which normally sits outside his home, is still at the hospital as of July 6. The details about McConnell's health remain unclear, which has only sparked further speculation about the potential severity of his condition. Maybe he's still buffering. Weekend. I can tell you right now, based on some of these photos that I'm looking at on here, JPass, it is seriously weekend at Bernie's in the Mitchells. Yeah, I know, right? That's as dodgy as hell, V. You know, so his wife has, Chow, who formerly served as Transportation Secretary in the first Trump administration and Labor Secretary in the Bush administration, travelled to Beijing and met with Chinese Vice President. I mean, some random person doesn't just fly to Beijing and meet up with a Chinese Vice President. That doesn't happen. I couldn't just get on a plane and fly to Beijing and meet with the Vice President. Just 3 days after McConnell's hospitalisation. If that ain't as dodgy as all heck, I don't know what is. Insider. Sorry, cough. I better have a drink. That's better. Yeah, that's as dodgy as all heck. I don't know what else to say about that. If you put your ear up to his ear, what was that noise? Now I'm gonna have to do this. You ready for this? Sound familiar? Yes, dial-up tone. The sound of youth is all I'm going to say. I just jumped onto YouTube and someone's actually recorded it, and you can go in there and listen to it. And the scary thing is, it's got 7,380 subscribers, and just that noise has got 14,331 comments associated with it. I think that's called viral. Only it's what we used to call normal. Oh, that's funny. The things that, I suppose I don't know how many viewers it's got. Because there we go. 20,692,027 views. She's a spy. If she isn't, he is. Either that or she's his controller. And he's gone to hospital and she's rushed off and said, yeah, we're going to have to start organising another contact because I don't think we're going to get much more from this. G'day, Carl. He was knackered when Biden was still president. I mean, everyone's seen the video of basically of him just freezing. I think he was outside of Congress and somebody actually asked him a question and it was like, and it wasn't for like 5 seconds. He went like, people were seriously going, is he going to actually move in a second, or has he just passed away, or what's going on? He just didn't move. and it wasn't like his fingers were shaking. It was seriously like buffering. It was just ridiculous, and it was hilarious at the same time. I've never seen anyone freeze when like all these other people, and you can't even call it AI because he did it so well. So, but mind you, I don't even, how old is he? Let's look that up. He was a good looking bloke in his younger day. Assumed office? No, where are we? Incumbent. Yeah. Well, if he hasn't actually walked into his house. So he left the United States Army Reserve in 1967 due to medical separation, and his rank was private. And he was pretty much in office from February the 1st, 1975 to, I can only assume he's vaguely still in there or something. An American politician and attorney serving as the senior United States Senator from Kentucky, a seat he has held since 1985. But he was there for 10 years prior to that. That is a long time. I don't know. Clearly they just kept on voting him in. So from 1968 to 1970, McConnell worked as Chief Legislative Assistant to Senator Marlo Cook in Washington, D.C. But I'm sorry, a $2 million house in Washington, D.C. seems a bit odd. That just seems really, really cheap. Am I missing something there, or was it like a 1-bedroom apartment or something? I don't know. $2 million in Washington, D.C. Let's look that up. What can you get for $2 million in Washington, D.C.? I better put what house can you get? Washington, D.C. Okay. Well, there's one for $339,000, I guess. 3449 23rd Street, Southeast Washington, D.C. I don't know, that's probably a postcode. 399,000, so that gets you 2,178 square feet. 2 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Oh, well, that says 1,100 square feet, so that must be just the ground floor. Yeah. So what else have we got? Let's find something else. Let's find okay. Yeah, I don't want Temple Hill. Somewhere in Washington. Sorry, we're looking at real estate now. Because, that's a nice house. That's $3.5 million. I want something under $2 million. My budget's under $2 million. I don't have $2 million. But, okay, I'm going to have to change this Google search because clearly it's not understanding what I want. House under $2 million, Washington, D.C. Realtor.com. Looks kind of like realestate.com, so your request could not be... Oh, yeah, okay. Here we go. Okay. Townhouse for sale. 4383 Westover Place, NW, Washington. I don't know what NW is. It's a nice house. So 1.495 for a 4-bedroom, 4.5 bathroom, 2,313 square feet with a 1,300 square feet loft. Oh, okay. So the lot is 1,307 and the house is because it's 2-story. It's a nice house, actually. I know you guys are going to go, where's the picture? I could live with that kitchen. I'm going to have to show you now. And yes, I know it's going to be all back to front. Get over it. That's not a bad kitchen. I could live with that. Nice floors. Heated underfloor. Can see that. I do like these rolls. Like paper towel rolls. Got a white wall oven. Double wall oven. Nice. I'm assuming that's the dishwasher. It's got 3 bars. You can fit 3 bar stools. White fridge these days is hard to find. Go away. I could, no, don't want to know more about that property. Living room, let's go to living room. Where's the exterior? So that's the house. Three-story. Nice bit of balcony with a bit of fake grass. But at least you got a nice tree there. The obligatory pot plant. I swear to God, these decorators get hilariously funny. And someone left a throw blanket over the top, you know, it's just... yeah, there's shopping nearby. Italian pizza and kitchen. Breakfast bakery. Yeah, bathrooms are nice. So yes, apparently you can get a $2 million house in Washington. So there you go. I thought that was rather cheap. Balcony not big enough. No, but it depends on whether there's parks and stuff like that around, I suppose. You know, if there's parks just down the road, then who cares? You know, I suppose these people aren't really sort of... Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's incorrect. You know, these people aren't really there to be sitting on a balcony. I wonder what the fire truck wants to put out a fire. But why? What fire truck? Was there a fire truck somewhere? Or did I miss something again? I can't look at 2 screens at the same time. So who else do you want me to look up? Who else has been in the news over there that you want to know more about? Stripper fireman for the wife chance. Oh, okay, a fire truck is just... maybe there's all the little green sticky things sticking out of the grass, and they come to remove them. Green prommy things. So who else do we want to look up? Come on, talk to me. Did anything else happen in the world today that we wish to know about? have to go back in these comments. I've clearly missed something here. There goes the ambulance too. It must be that service station down the road that caught on fire, and the attendant couldn't get out, and but he managed to get through the back door somehow. Just saying. P&W 1. I think the cat called the fire department. I don't think anyone could defend themselves in that kitchen. But still, it's better than my kitchen. My kitchen's a lot smaller than that, I can assure you of that. Most people see my kitchen and go, oh my God. I've seen kitchens bigger than my kitchen in a motorhome. They were outside for a minute. There was a bad accident that killed a family of 6. Well, that doesn't sound good. Where was that, Kendall? I really need a shave. Oh, too hairy. A dog rolled over and killed 6 fleas. Oh dear. I was going to say, it's actually been a really nice day here, by the way. I just thought I'd mention that. It's like completely blue skies, little puffy clouds just going past. It's like, why am I here? Because I got shit to do. I've already done like 2 or 3 houses today, and I've probably still got another couple to do tonight. So everyone will get what they need to get done. So, and I might just do a chicken schnitzel tonight, and that'll be dinner. I just thought I'd throw that in. So, what else do you want to talk about? You made your grapes stronger. Yeah, it depends on what work I've got, Kendall. I did a couple of houses this morning. And fun fact, LL Cool J stands for Ladies Love Cool James. Yeah, I could believe that. I don't know. Who's LL Cool J, by the way? It sounds like an orange juice. That's better than cussing us out. Well, there's not really. I wouldn't even know how to cuss anyone. He don't know. Fanny, by the way. I just thought I'd throw that in there just because. LL Cool J, does that not sound like some sort of orange juice or apple juice or something? I don't know. Yes, it is. And you didn't even have to ask. I honestly don't know. I'm going to have to look it up. What is LL Cool J? Someone right now is pissing themselves laughing, by the way. Oh, it's an American rapper and actor. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's... Okay, there's a picture here and he's emptying a bottle of water on himself. I'm not into rap. I'm sorry. I don't know. Yeah, I did watch SWAT. I have seen that movie. He's known for his hits like Mama Said Knock You Out and I Need Love, as well as starring in NCIS Los Angeles and numerous films. There's probably someone watching this just absolutely wetting themselves laughing, thinking, oh my god, how old are you that you don't know who LL Cool J is? I don't care. Sorry, I'm not a rap person. I don't listen to it. I can't understand it. It just makes no sense. I like music that I can actually understand, and it carries a tune. So what else was he in? I'm pretty sure half these guys actually just make up their names. I mean, listen to this sentence and tell me that I'm wrong. LL Cool J's second album was 1987's Bigger and Deffer, which was produced by DJ Pooh and the LA Posse. It may as well be in French. Seriously. I don't know. The Marley Marl produced album. Okay. I'm sure he's worth millions. Oh, he is still alive. That's good. He's only 4 years older than I am, which is kind of sad considering how much money he's probably worth and how much money I'm worth. But okay. The ambulance. Would you mind speaking English? I know, right? And they can't speak English because apparently this album Deffer is actually spelt Deffer. I was more of a 50-cent rapper myself. Couldn't have made it $1. DJ Hengo. I don't know what mine would be. It's kind of one of those things. Oh, God, come back. Sorry, I'm trying to read things. I don't know what mine would be. Isn't it something about what colour shirt you're wearing and what you ate last? If that's the case, black Vegemite. Black Vegemite on toast. So, because that was my lunch. Isn't that like oh no, that's my pimp name. Okay. I thought you was doing someone. It is mainly black. It's just got a red collar. So, I mean, it could be red and black Vegemite sandwich, but that just sounds, I don't know, Drop Bear Posse. Yes. Drop Bear Posse. Oh, well, it was always what your shirt colour is or whatever, and then what you ate last or something. I don't know. Or was that your hooker name or something? I don't know. But anyway, I had Vegemite on toast for lunch. I'm real fancy. I eat the fancy stuff. Colour of your thong. Yeah, I'm not wearing thongs. My hooker name is my real name. The Lewis Beasley. Wasn't there an Australian politician, Beasley? Kim Beasley. Kim Beasley. There was a it was a big fat bloke. Kim Beasley. Yeah, KYM Beasley. Kim Christian Beasley is a former Australian politician, diplomat and Governor of Western Australia. A Rhodes Scholar. Ooh. Yeah, there is that. Yeah, it is spelt with a Z. That is correct. So it's Beazley. Yeah, he was everywhere when I was younger. He worked under John Howard and Paul Keating and Bob Hawke, Kevin Rudd, Julia Gillard, Tony Abbott, Malcolm. That was just all in 2 years, I think. Okay, 6. Yeah, we were worse than the English at one stage with our prime ministers. So in between 17th of February 2010 and the 22nd of January 2016, we went through Kevin Rudd, Julia Gillard, Tony Abbott, Malcolm Turnbull. It was like one after the other. Still not as bad as England, though. They've gone through a lot more than what we ever did. He was responsible for establishing the Royal Australian Navy submarine program, although this would be beset by technical problems. Yeah, because they couldn't figure out which submarine they wanted and where they wanted to buy it from, and they've still got that same damn problem now. Oh, please, D, I'm trying to get over that trauma. Yeah, I know, right? We're still suffering for it now, let alone what it was like back then. Kim Beasley kind of looked like the sort of guy that had been to McDonald's way too often before breakfast. He was a big boy. So, yeah, they were all pretty much... Yeah, what they did back then, we never realised it at the time, but what they did back then... Hey, Tiggs, how you doing? What they did back then pretty much is why we're suffering now, because it's just been, oh, that was a good idea, and let's just do that again ever since. And no one's had a bright idea since then, even though the ideas back then were pretty bad. So, it's... Maybe Nepenthe, you can have a chat to Tiggs, because Tiggs' daughter's actually in Melbourne, and yeah, and you're in Melbourne. Huh? There you go. So, still running into kangaroos and things like that. So, cool. What else have we got? Let's go to the main page of YouTube and see what's happening. Grok. Here's one for you, Chance. One of the things that came up on my YouTube thing was Grok just debunked the pyramids. Grok AI was asked who built the pyramids. The answer shocked everyone. Well, that's because you didn't go to bed as usual. So there you go. Grok just debunked the pyramids. I would play the video, but it's half an hour and I'm pretty sure it's just junk. If the middle finger comes up, don't judge. I've used it of late and it's very close to the I don't know. What was the answer? I don't know. I didn't actually click on the video. Because any time a video says the answer shocked everyone, it sounds horribly to me like it's clickbait. And so normally I just delete the videos without ever watching them. The stupid thing is it actually shows a picture of like a pyramid with the capstone, and it's got all these red lines that look like targeting. So clearly AI has been used to create the banner. Grok AI was asked who built the pyramids. The answer shocked everyone. Tells me immediately it's just clickbait rubbish. So I don't really know what the answer is. I still don't think anyone actually knows who actually built the pyramids. I'm pretty sure it was just a bunch of, from what I understand with the pyramids, basically there was a lot of unemployed people at the time just meandering around. So the Egyptians pretty much gave them a job. And it certainly was never built by slaves. They actually ate pretty well, these people, apparently. They lived rather well. And I'm trying to make this tree for the offshot. Figure out how to put a damn face on a tree. There's just some guy, there's kind of jokes. Have you ever seen those things where they show the tree and there's like all these faces and it goes, how many faces can you see in a tree? We've found 5, but I bet you can find more. And straight away you find 6. It's like, fuck off. But yes, getting back to the pyramids. I think we'll just find that they were actually incredibly good at their jobs. It's like, why do we have to just blame everything on the aliens? Like, I don't know. Yes, buy Chance's book and his game. And if you want to know where to buy it from, go to Amazon, type in Chance Paladin, and there they all are. It's not hard to find. Yeah, it's cold. I'm sitting in the air conditioning, and even though it's blue sky outside and I would much rather be outside, it is still cold outside. You did a whole episode at reminding people. That was fantastic. And bugger the AI. So, buy his books, buy his game. Got to do that. Yeah. You keep telling yourself that. But that's okay. The Anunnaki made us stop at the Chrome Depot. No, South Australia. Getting dark here, so it's grey out. Yeah, I know. The whole homestead versus... Okay, so, homestead versus farmer thing. Let's get into that. So, the way I view it is that a farm is something that you need to make an annual income out of. So basically, it needs to be large enough that you can pretty much continually make your income off, and it becomes your full-time job. Whether it's an orchard an orchard, or whether it's broad acre farming like wheat, barley, corn, what have you, it needs to be big enough to basically make an annual income out of and be able to put money aside to move into the next year. Homestead is not that. Homestead is basically you still technically have to have a job because it's not actually big enough to be able to produce enough food to keep you hungry or to keep you sustained, as well as having excess to be able to sell. That's pretty much the only difference. No, you don't have a... well, not that I've ever seen your place, but from what you've described, it's... I mean, a farm is 200 acres, 200 to 300 acres. Yeah, no worries, Kendall. You have a good night. So a farm is 200 or 300 plus acres. What was the question again? A farm is 200 to 300 acres, and a homestead is probably around about 2.5 acres, if that. So there is a distinct difference between size. There's also a distinct difference between income versus sustainability. There's also a distinct difference between, so in other words, sustainability, sustaining yourself and then making profit on top. There's a difference between machinery size. You don't need a combine harvester on 2 acres, or a thumping great big tractor, or any of that crap. So yeah, there's also a distinct difference between the size of sheds, because once you get into farming, you end up spending more money on machinery than what you do on anything else, and then you need a shed to actually put all the machinery into, and then you need another shed to be able to put the produce that you're actually producing on the farm into. Hello, Seraphim. Didn't see you there. So yeah, there's a huge difference between a farm and a homestead. I mean, it's just endless. So, but hopefully that's given you a few little ideas before you disappear and go off to bed, which you're probably going to disappear off here. Go and read a book for a couple of hours and then probably get into bed. And for somebody who didn't know what he was going to be talking about today, I seem to have filled this episode up. I don't know how that works. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, because I've never seen it. You do a good job. You're a natural. Well, so do you. So there you go. Me, I just wrap it on and hopefully that somebody finds something interesting out of it. I don't know. And maybe because normally before I started doing all this sort of shit, I was sitting here basically for the entire week without talking out loud. So maybe it's just I need to hear my voice every now and again to realise that I'm actually still alive. The problem is I'm actually looking at myself in the damn camera, so that's kind of weird. Yeah, look, I mean, it's yeah. I don't think I'm aggressive. I've never been aggressive in my life. It's kind of relaxed. Everyone's sort of chatting happily, and which is good. I think it's just a good bunch of people. I think that's probably part of the thing. Everyone kind of has fun. Woo! Yeah, I know. I got to get out bush again. Seriously, I miss it too much. This idea of not sleeping out there is just pissing me off. Sorry, I had top chat on instead of live chat. I don't know what top chat is. I think that's the thing that kind of counts, but I've never been able to work out what that actually does. Yeah. it's, look, Bobby C popped in earlier. You know, a few people have popped in, and that's been good. You know, it's nice to see everyone come in and say good day. And I mean, at the moment, according to this, there's 6 people here. I don't know whether that includes me or not. So, yeah. And that's okay. Doesn't have to be a stupid amount of people. Just having the right people, I think is quite nice. So, but there you go. So yes, we know that Grok debunked the pyramids, and I'm not going to watch that video. I'm just not. The rules for stacking gold have changed. Ooh. I don't know. Ooh, went away. There we go, we're back again. And I think, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I've been on chats, and it's got like this. It puts like a number 1 or number 2 next to it, and it adds them up the top. But it's like, what does that actually do? I don't really know. Like it, I don't know. I've had it up to 225 or something. We had an extra large filter today. Too much solar activity. Too much poop. Oh, too much poop conversations. Right, okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah. No, I don't know what it is, Tiggs. I got no idea. Like, you know, sometimes, you know, and the number 1 sort of goes to number 2 depending on who's commenting more, and it seems to add up these numbers which appear in the top, and I'm looking at it and going, what's that actually for? Like, what's the point of it? I don't know. I don't know what it actually is. I don't know what it does. It's not like I don't know. It's kind of one of those pointless things. And here's another one. Now, I don't know how many of you have ever gone through the shorts. Like, if you're bored and you're looking at YouTube and you go through the shorts, have you noticed they've gotten rid of the dislike button on the shorts? It doesn't exist anymore. So they've taken it off. I don't know why. Well, I mean, I do. I'm not going to lie, I do. And yeah, they are brain rot. I know. Not sure where Eaglemont is. Okay, I'm gonna tell you where. Where is Eaglemont? It's in Victoria. It is. Oh, it's in Melbourne. Why is it showing that? Okay, Eaglemont. It is. There's a hospital that borders it. Near Preston, Northcote. Okay, so Tiggs, if you think Melbourne's there, Eaglemont is basically just over there. So it's pretty much northeast. So you've got Preston, Northcote, Richmond, and Eaglemont is basically next to where Preston is. It's a nice area. I lived for a short time in a suburb called Thornbury, which is halfway between Northcote and Preston, and that's on about the same sort of area. So near Heidelberg in Melbourne. South Morang. Morang. Near Epping. I know there's a Westfield there. Okay, so if they were in South Morang, they've come. Eaglemont is very much closer to the city, closer to the CBD. So South Morang is north, and then basically Eaglemont is a lot closer to the city, to the CBD. So yeah, areas like Preston, Thornbury, Northcote, Coburg are all relatively close to the CBD of Melbourne. So basically probably about a 10-minute, not even 10-minute cab ride from Thornbury to the CBD of Melbourne. Eaglemont is basically probably about a 15-minute to the CBD. So there's an ad. So it's, Eaglemont is basically near the Yarra Flats Park, the Warringal Parklands, and the Kew Golf Club. So sort of surrounded. I'll show you. So to give you an idea, and we'll just shut that off. So there's Melbourne down there, and there's Eaglemont right there, and there's Northcote, Thornbury. I don't know whether you can see that, and where you were talking about before is up there. So they've come down. So where they were, that's South Morang up there, and there's Melbourne. So they've gone from there down to kind of in here somewhere. In here somewhere. So they're a lot closer to the CBD. Hello, Gerda. How are you? Yeah, I know. South Morang is in the north, yeah. Figure that one out. That kind of doesn't make sense. It's kind of weird. Good. Gerda's lovely. So, why are all these ads coming in? Yes, run away. Too late. Gotcha. Your alarm bells are going on. You do realise the fire brigade and the ambulance just turned up. Well, they were there before. Yeah, we're just talking about suburbs of Melbourne. Tiggs wanted to know where South Morang was and where Edgemont was, or Egmont, whatever you want to call it. And so South Morang is actually north of Melbourne. It's not south of Melbourne. I don't know why they call there must be another suburb. There must be two suburbs close to each other that are called Morang, and one just happens to be called South and the other one's North, and even though they're both north. Because I know Craigieburn, because that's just all up the Hume Highway. But I actually lived in Thornbury for a little while, which was lovely. Even I'm confused now. I want to eat meringue, so do I. After the VIX. And China launched missiles. Oh, I didn't hear that. Okay, now I'm going to have to look up that. China launches missiles. Okay, let's. This is a bit of a news thing, by the way. How CCP mouthpieces covered China's ICBM. Story by Joseph. I don't know how to pronounce that. Palmer from 1 hour ago. So this is on MSN. And it states, while Beijing insists the launch of a nuclear-capable missile is nothing to write home about, everyone's doing it, so hey, we may as well join the party. Its flagship propaganda unit has hailed the test as a display of military might that the likes of Australia will have to accept and get used to sooner or later. The People's Liberation Army fired the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, ICBM, that's just for people who didn't know, from a nuclear submarine lurking in the South China Sea for quite some time, according to the Albanese government. It was the first sea launch of its kind in 4 decades and came just hours after Australia and Fiji inked a mutual defence pact that could grow into including other Pacific countries. Fronting a closely choreographed daily press conference, Chinese Foreign Minister spokesman Mao Ning urged people not to interpret too much from the launch. It's just a routine military exercise, she said. It does not target any third party or targets, and it's been notified in advance to the relevant countries and in accordance with international law and international practice. That was the line reportedly widely across China's state media apparatuses, with official news agency Xinhua repeating it almost verbatim. China Daily, the biggest English language newspaper, also reported the launch as routine, but acknowledged that the last such test was in 1988. It also acknowledged that the missile launched then was constrained by its short operational range and served as a symbol of the PLA's Navy's possession of nuclear capability rather than a usable deterrent. That, per China Daily, was not the case with the JL-3, the missile all but confirmed to have been fired. It was unveiled at a mega military parade in Beijing last year, at which Chinese President Xi Jinping hosted Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. It's a pretty big missile. So yeah. Now, we're going to lose 2 of the audience. Kendall, 7 o'clock meeting tomorrow. Go to bed. Chance, you never sleep. So go to bed. Yeah, I mean we've known for quite some time that the South China Sea is pretty much, I mean, if that place closes, Australia's effed, because pretty much most of our fuel comes through there, all of our goods come through there. We pretty much send most of our iron ore there. Most of our coal goes to China. So everything goes through the South China Sea. So if something goes off, Australia's stuffed. Apparently everyone wants to go to bed, which is fine. Have a great night, JPass. Take care. Look after yourself. It is 3:30, I will add. 4 o'clock in Melbourne. And probably 7:30 or so in New Zealand. Yeah. I did see somewhere, and this is just something I'm going to add, apparently on the 27th of July, and this may or may not happen, I'm not sure, but I have heard that Australia is actually going to do they're going to test out their emergency broadcasts on the phones. Now, I have heard this before. So if your phone goes off on about the 27th of July, warning you of something or another, pay no attention to it. Now, it may or may not happen, I don't know, but I did see something about it this morning, and I have seen things, and these sort of warning, these sort of testing of their SMS/message to the population as an instant message has been tested in the US and the UK. I think in the UK it's happening so often, people are just, by the time something actually happens, they're just going to ignore it, thinking it's nothing. I think the US gets them every now and again, and everyone gets all upset. But we don't. We've not had any at all. Well, there you go. Apparently New Zealand gets them. So, but yeah, that was something I did hear this morning somewhere. So as to whether that actually happens or not, I don't know. There's been a bunch of idiots who seem to think that we're going to get it, and then we never do. So I'd imagine they'll probably test it out at some point or another, but as to when, I don't know. Look, I think it's just to see whether it still works. It's like an SMS thing saying, you know, what was the old thing? Dive under your school desk now, sort of scenario, like an alert message. But yeah, they've been doing it in the UK. They've been doing it in the US and a few other countries as well. So I guess it's only about time that it happened here. There have been people over the last 6 years that have said, oh my God, they're going to do it, and never bloody happens. So I guess we'll see. But that's apparently for July the 27th. Oh, look, Seraphim, we've got various alert sort of apps that you can get here. I've got one for fire and various other things. And so I'll get an SMS via an app, but that's an app I actually have to download. And it's worthwhile for me to have it, you know, just in case of fire or whatever is going on. But no, this is different. This is basically the federal government sending out alerts. So, I don't know. Like I said, I only mention it because I saw it this morning on July 27. But who knows? I'd have to watch the news or something like that to see whether it is actually a real thing. Actually, here we go. Oh, well, there you go. July 27, 2026. The emergency alert test in Australia is set for July 27, 2026. During this test, a nationwide alert will be sent to compatible mobile devices, including most phones, smartwatches and tablets. The alert will be sent at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, and devices will vibrate and emit a siren-like sound for 10 seconds, followed by an on-screen message clearly stating it is a test. The test is crucial for ensuring the system works correctly before its official launch in October 2026. So there you go. It is actually real. So yeah, if you're sitting there on the toilet or wherever you happen to be at about 2 o'clock on the 27th of July, so it'll be 2:30 for me, your phone is about to go bloody nuts. So just keep that in mind, because apparently, it does say the test is crucial for ensuring the system works correctly before its official launch in October 2026, so clearly we don't have one yet. but we're getting one. So it's awesome. You know, I suppose it's different for... So this will be a federal government nationwide alert. Be interesting to see how that works for people who are in planes at the time. Like, if your phone's turned off, does it still turn back on again and beep, 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 beep? You know, just start going off its nuts? I don't know. I guess we'll see on the 27th. Why your phone will blast a siren on July 27. And it's even the ABC are reporting it. I'm surprised Australia doesn't have one, Tiggs. You know, considering every other country does, I suppose, you know, they just don't really care. Oh, yeah, I suppose we should get one. Yeah, what the hell? How much is that going to cost? Oh, $3 billion. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll just pay it. You know, oh, it came in at 15 billion. I mean, that's the way our government works. I'm pretty sure everyone else is the same. You know, there we go. Oh, that's hilarious. Oz Alert is now expected to be fully operational by October, about 2 years after its intended start date in 2024, but before its rescheduled rollout of 2027. So they kind of gave you 3 years to get your job done, you know. The government announced $10.1 million in the 2023 budget to establish a task force to progress the project. 3 years on, the government has now invested $132 million. Oh, God. They're so predictable, seriously. So it went from 10.1 million to 132. Oh, golly gosh. I'm not even going to... Oh, far out. I mean, at least it wasn't billion, I suppose. I mean, there is a bonus about it. You know, it's... Oh, golly gosh. Oh, well, there you go. Localised trials. Is it? The system was designed for communicating during events such as bushfires and floods, but Ms McBain said it could also be used for police operations or biosecurity threats. For example, she said the New South Wales government could use Oz Alert for an incident like the Bondi terrorist attack. Our emergency systems are maintained mainly by states and territories, so it would go through their usual emergency service channels. Miss McBain said Oz Alert would replace the current text warning message system and has assured people that it will not collect personal data. Excuse me. Cough. Localised trials will take place in urban, regional and remote areas across Australia in June in the following locations: Majura, ACT, Launceston, Tasmania, Port Douglas, Queensland, Liverpool, New South Wales, Geelong, Victoria, Tennant Creek, Northern Territory, Goolmaling, Western Australia, Port Lincoln, South Australia, Queanbeyan, New South Wales. Editor's note. An earlier version of this story stated that the Oz Alert system cost had blown from 10 million to 132 million. The 10 million was initially allocated for the creation of a task force and was not the forecast total. So, you know, anyone, you know, here's $10 million, set it up. So they're all sitting around a board table. Anyone got any ideas? No? Do you want me to do it? Or do you want to do it? I don't know. Just put your invoices in. We'll figure it out. 3 years later, it's ready. Yeah. Welcome to Australia. We just spend money because no one ever worries about it. It's awesome. It's so cool. But anyway, I think I might end it there today. So yes, I might end it there today and probably go and, I don't know, do some work. What do we think? Yes? Okay. It's been a pleasure, as always, to have you all join me, to listen to me rant on, listen to my annoying voice. But I will leave you guys alone. Hope you have a lovely evening. And, yeah, stay safe. That's the main thing. There is a life out there. It's pretty cool. Okay, I'll catch you all guys later. Bye.